The NASCAR All-Star Race is absolutely pointless and needs to end. I said it. What are you going to do about it? Let me explain. You look at the All-Star event in all other forms of professional sports, what does it consist of? Well, you get the best players from every single team, and you put them on two teams, essentially, and you pit them all against each other. That truly is an all-star event. But you know what NASCAR does every single week? They have 40 of the best drivers in the sport all competing against each other every single week. We don't need an all-star race. We've never needed an all-star race. The all-star race was originally created because they wanted to sell more seats and hype up the fans in the Charlotte area for Speed Weeks 2, which, yes, at the time did make sense. And yes, I will grant you $1 million is a really cool reason to go out there and try to win a race. However, when finishing inside the top 5 in this year's Daytona 500 pays that, what's my incentive to go out to Texas and wreck a really expensive race car to try to win another $1 million? Yeah. Plus, this year's format is just a little wacky. It always has been a little wacky because they change it up every single year. This year, the All-Star Race moves not from Charlotte Motor Speedway, but from Bristol Motor Speedway in 2020 due to the pandemic, to the Texas Motor Speedway in 2021. June 13th is when the All-Star Race is slated. It'll be 100 laps over 6 rounds. But boy, hold on to your hats, gearheads. This one's gonna get interesting. So let's break it down. The starting lineup is going to be set by a random draw, just like every other event in 2020 and in 2021. And the first round is going to be 15 laps. All right, fine and well. There's going to be an inversion around 8 cars or 12 cars. Not really sure yet. All right, before the second round, which is another 15 laps. The entire field will be inverted before the third round, which is another 15 laps. Then another inversion will take place, minimum of 8 to 12 cars, before the fourth round, another 15 laps. Then the starting positions for the fifth round will consist of the cumulative finishes from the first 4 rounds. The lowest cumulative finisher starts on the pole, second lowest starts second, etc., etc. All cars must enter pit road for mandatory 4-tire pit stop during the fifth round, which is 30 laps. The fastest team on pit road of the mandatory stop will earn $100,000. Starting positions for the final round, which is 10 laps, are set by finishing positions in the fifth round. I'm exhausted saying that. What? Huh? Like, come on. We need to make this 10,000 times more simplistic. I understand what NASCAR's doing here, but this is absolutely ridiculous. The All-Star Race is pointless as it is. Moving it to Texas is just appeasing Texas and Eddie Gossage because they went ahead and removed the second date because Texas hasn't been able to really fill the stands out there and put on a good show in 10 years. But, you know, we'll go ahead and give him the All-Star Race just because he's mad that he can't sell tickets. That's fine. I guess we'll appease him. And it goes to show you, boys and girls, you complain and scream loud enough, you're gonna get what you want. Isn't that right, Eddie? Oh yeah. But looking at the All-Star Race, only green flag laps will count. Fine. Cars are going to use a 57 64th inch tapered spacer, and everything else on the car is going to be the same. Honestly, the All-Star Race, at least for the last few seasons, has been the event where NASCAR tries crazy things. Last year, they moved the number and put the god-awful neon under the car, which everyone hated. And I know that there was a split consensus online with the numbers on moving them. I'll say this, it looked god-awful. It really did. Maybe I'm a purist. Leave the numbers where they are. Leave them the size that they are, especially on the new cars. Just don't mess with that. We've messed with enough in NASCAR as it is. Now, what about the Open, you might say? Well, the Open's going to have 3 rounds. The winner of each round is going to advance to the All-Star Race, and a fan vote winner will advance as well. Fan votes open on May 13th, Now, the first stage of the Open is 20 laps, the second stage is 20 laps, and the final stage of the Open is 10 laps. It marks the first time Texas Motor Speedway is going to be hosting the All-Star event. Chase Elliott, last year's champ, actually won last year's All-Star race at the Bristol Motor Speedway. The 2020 All-Star race was important because it was also the first time we used the choose rule, which has been used every single race in the Cup Series since. Inevitably, that was a good move. In order to be eligible for the All-Star race, drivers who won a points-paying event in either 2020, 2021 are in, drivers who won a NASCAR All-Star race and competed full-time last season and this season are in, drivers who won a NASCAR Cup Series championship and competed full-time are in. 17 drivers have clinched a spot for 2021's All-Star race as of the recording of this video, and alphabetically they include Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Cole Custer, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Michael McDowell, Ryan Newman, and Martin Truex Jr. My entire thing with the All-Star race is make it interesting, make it cool, make it different. All the All-Star race now and for the last few years is pretty much, well, let's just go run a quick little race and give them a lot of money by the end of it. Well, let me tell you what would just be as interesting. Why not do another dirt race? Why not go to the dirt track out at Charlotte? That actually would be very interesting. And because of COVID restrictions, you're basically going to pack that house as best you can right now anyway. Heck, why not go to Eldora, or a road course, or another track that may or may not actually be coming to the Cup Series in the near future? Use the All-Star race to test a market's viability. In layman's terms, if you think a Cup race at a track might be a good idea, give them the All-Star race the year before they go on the Cup Series schedule. I'm just saying it's a way to test out the local market, because if I'm thinking, you know what, that racetrack up in Washington, I'm thinking maybe we want to give that racetrack a Cup date. But will locals actually come out, and will the racing be any good at this track? Let's give them the All-Star race, because if racing's bad, doesn't matter anyway, no one's watching, and, well, if it's good, then we'll go there next year. Yeah, great idea. Like I said earlier, every other form of sports has an all-star event, and that's special because you have literally all the stars, all the best players from all the teams coming together to play one epically competitive, star-studded event. But guess what? In NASCAR, the only thing that the all-star race is confusing, pointless, wreck-filled, and not as many lap cars in the way running mid-pack. Oh well. And I haven't even talked about the Texas Motor Speedway and how fans have attested the reconfiguration of turns 1 and 2 and the racing out there for the last few seasons. There is an epic following of people online that dislike the Speedway now. Honestly, when I heard that they were going to reconfigure one of the turns at Texas, I thought, wow, finally they're going to fix 3 and 4. And guess what? They tore up the good turn. Go figure. Way to go, Eddie. Way to go, buddy. But hey, they have a big TV that nobody in the grandstands watches because nobody goes out to that racetrack anymore. Good for you, Eddie. Good for you. I wish Texas nothing but the best. I really do. I honestly hope that they can repave it and just tear it up and configure the track to make some great racing, because Lord knows we haven't had good racing out there in a few years. Heck, maybe the All-Star race can actually experiment a little bit and try a different aero package or engine package or anything package, and maybe, just maybe, put on a decent show. Heck, NASCAR, if you have the guts, why not go ahead and debut the next-gen car at this race? I'm just saying it would be a one-off, very cool thing to kind of preview what's coming, and I would actually watch the All-Star race. Heck, if I was in the Texas area, I would actually go to the All-Star race if you debuted the new car at Texas in the All-Star race. I'm just saying. But guess what? Not that many people are going to go. I know Eddie's going to hoot and holler and say, "Ooh, look at us, we sold out all we could because of COVID," which is great. But you've been removing seats for the last few seasons, and nobody's really gone to that racetrack in the last few seasons because racing hasn't been that great. How much longer will the Texas Motor Speedway survive? I don't know. That's a topic for another video. But I'm going to go ahead and pose the question onto you. Is NASCAR's All-Star format simplistic in your mind, or is it way too complicated and convoluted to make any sense? And do you think NASCAR should continue to have an All-Star race? Or is every week an All-Star race like I proposed? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, mash that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and if you liked the video, go ahead and share it with your friends and family to help grow the channel, to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out these cool videos and you mash that subscribe button one more time, just in case you haven't already. I'm Alan Bailey, we'll see ya at the track.